Okay, I'm recording. I'm doing it different this week. I'm going mobile. I'm going to use the phone, see how that works. But let's just jump into it. Was the forgiveness factor. And he just went with one story. He had two that he was going to go through, but we had I guess a longer worship service than he was expecting. But anyway, it was the story of Joseph. And Joseph, I mean, and I don't want to read all of it, but starts in Genesis 37 and goes all the way to 50. Basically, Joseph was just a big dreamer. His head was in the clouds, and his father sent him out to check on his brothers to make sure they were okay and tell them how it was. Well, his brothers saw him and was plotting to kill him. Well, the plot ended up it wasn't killing him. They ended up throwing him in a well. Some people come along, they sold him into slavery. Well, while he was in slavery, he became the governor over Egypt. They didn't know this, they just remembered selling him into slavery. Well, they went and they needed grain. They had to buy it, and they had to buy it from the governor of Egypt. So they went to him, they kneeled before him. After selling him into slavery, they knelt before him and asked him for it. Well, he broke down. He sent all of his people out. He told them who he was. He sent them off and everything and took care of them. Well, later the father died, and they're like, well, what if that's the only reason he was helping us? Because he was honoring our dad. So they were scared, and they sent this fake letter from their dad to him with his dying wishes. And then he called him up and said, y'all don't have to worry. It's like all of this was God. God sent me ahead of y'all to make sure that y'all could be taken care of. You think that it was all evil, but it's all part of God's plan. And, you know, we think that He's not in control of our lives a lot of times, but you've got to realize He is. I mean, and I only have one thing on my notes here. One. It says, God will be your defender. You know, you don't have to defend yourself for anything because God will take care of it. People do bad things to you all the time and they say they're Christian or whatever. God handles them. Whenever I do stuff wrong, God handles me. I know that. So he'll handle whoever does stuff wrong to you. So, don't worry about it. And I've got one verse underlined here that I want to read. It's Ephesians 4:31. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and slander be put away from you along with malice. And I'm going to keep reading. Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgive each other, just as God in Christ also has forgiven you. And, that sums it all up. You've just got to forgive. And that's a hard thing for us to do. And God knows that's hard for us to do because, God, to be able to forgive us for what we did, He had to send the perfect sacrifice. He understands how hard it is to forgive because He had a hard time forgiving us. And that's why He did it, because He had a hard time with the forgiveness. And we're made just like Him, so we're going to have a hard time. But with Him, ask Him for help. Don't be like, hey, oh, I hope I can do this. Pray, give me the strength to do this. Whatever it is, and all, not just in forgiveness, not just in, but in everything. You know, ask God what to do, how to do it, when to do it. Clarity of why to do it. But and that's about all I got about this one. Just remember, forgive everybody as God has forgiven you. Everyone have a blessed week, and I will see you next week.